All right, great. So you should see my screen. You should also see me hopefully okay. So here's a quick question. Audio works well. Great, fantastic. Thanks for that. So yeah, thanks for joining this webinar. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Huge thanks for joining. So we are StoryChief, and my name is Sam, and I am a customer success manager here at StoryChief. So I help with user onboarding, I help answer all your questions, those kind of things. And today we are talking about being able to schedule multiple social posts to your social channels. So think about maybe multiple tweets, multiple Facebook posts, LinkedIn posts, those kind of things. You can see a quick screenshot of that here actually in this presentation right now. That's the view of the content calendar, so you can see for your social posts, where they're laid out. So yeah, this is how you create a social post in StoryChief. In this case, for Twitter. So yeah, you'd fill in the message. You could also customize it with a different image, and then you could choose to publish it now or even schedule it later. And that's how it has been for since we've started StoryChief. And when you publish it, this is how it would look like, in this case, on Twitter. Creating these social posts and publish them, it's fast and easy in StoryChief. But what if you want to promote that story, multiple times to your social channels? How could you do that? Could you do that within StoryChief? And well, the answer to that, until last week, was unfortunately no. If you wanted to promote your content multiple times, you would have to go and do that manually. You have to go onto those platforms and create them yourself. But we're changing that. We are making it so that you can create these social posts inside StoryChief once you've finished writing your story. But what are the benefits? What are the benefits of creating these multiple social posts for your content? Well, I have three here that I want to quickly discuss. The first one, probably most obvious for a lot of people, is time zones. If you're creating content, it may be that people you're targeting, maybe international, the people, not everyone's online at that time, they not see it, maybe sleeping, maybe working. It may not just be a good time for them. If you promote it multiple times, you can hopefully catch them when they are available and when they are on those platforms. The second point is that your social channels, be it your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, they will grow over time. And if you promote the older content with this feature, so say if you create a social post, so you create a story and you promote it today and also next month, there's people who have recently joined your social channels, they will also see that content. So promote it now and also a bit later in the hope that you'll catch those new subscribers, those new followers. And the final point is that it'll bring more traffic to your site. So every time you create these social posts, there's more chance that people will click on them and go through to your main primary channel. So 3 key points there, so definitely bear those in mind. And 3 points or 3 reasons why you should be making use of this multiple social post feature. What I want to do now is I want to show you how it works inside of StoryChief. So bear with me while I quickly change over here. And as I mentioned at the start, our chat is open. So if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to let me know. And then towards the end, we'll have a bit of a time for a Q&A as well. So don't be afraid of letting me know. So again, 2 seconds while I change over to StoryChief. Okay, fantastic. Here we are. So hopefully, again, you should see my screen now. I'm inside StoryChief in my demo environment. And I've created a story in advance, this one here. Hopefully, you already have a StoryChief account and you've already gone through this whole process. So I won't be going into too much detail today about creating that story. But all I've done for now is I've created a very simple story. I've added a cover image and an excerpt. That's all I've done. And now I want to publish it. So I have my website here, my William blog, and then I also want to promote it on my social channels. In this case, I want to publish it to my Twitter account. And this works exactly, as you've already used it. So what I can now do is I can say, what do you think? I'm trying to engage my audience by asking them what they thought of that piece of content. That's how we would do it. That's how we'd create one social post. But as mentioned with this feature, you can now create multiple. And you can probably already guess where you have to do that. There's a link right at the bottom to add an additional post. So we click on there, and you'll see right off the bat that we now have our existing social post, this one here, that we just created. And now we're working on this draft of this one. So now we can add a message, you can customize it. And this is definitely a very good tip that I want to give you is, don't just create the same message for all of your social posts. Tailor them, make them different, have different text in there. Say, for example, more info about this topic. I don't know. When you want to create one, you want to make it tailored to the actual topic and make them different. And to make them even more different, you can also use our customize feature in our professional plan to add a different image, a different title, and different description as well. So I'm going to add here a different image. That one's a bit too small. Let me pick a different one quick. Let's see what I have here. Let's take a look quick. Do I have a good image? This one here is hopefully okay. It's again too small. Let me see if I can find a good one just to show you guys real quick here. All right, this one should be good. So you pick an image and you can crop it, same as usual, confirm it. And now we have two very different looking social posts. So when you share it out at different times, people will think, maybe it's a different bit of content. It's more info, it's a different image. They're more likely to click on that link and read the whole story. So definitely keep that in mind. And you can also customize the title and description. So if you really want to go all in, you can do that as well. So once you've created that second post, now obviously we can't publish it now because we're already going to publish one now, but we can publish it later. So here we have, 3rd of September as today at 9:15 p.m. I can choose to leave that, or I can change it to a different time as well. So if I want to publish it maybe on Thursday at 12 noon, I can do that, click apply, and that is now set. And you can keep doing this. There's no limit here. So you can add another one, another one, another one. You can keep going. As long as they are, I believe, 3 hours apart, you can keep adding more. So what I would definitely recommend you guys doing is create these multiple posts and do one today, maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe even a few months after that. Just keep creating these posts, especially if the content is always going to be relevant. A good example of content that's always relevant are things like guides, maybe info about a product, maybe not if it's a news-related item that may become out of date. I would definitely advise using this for content that you could use as sort of evergreen content, something that could always be relevant to your visitors. And then once you've done that, you can then click on publish, and it will be sent out to your usual channels, and then it will be sent out to that first message will be sent out to Twitter in this case, and then the rest will be scheduled in. And all of these scheduled tweets or scheduled social posts will be shown in your content calendar if you have that feature in our professional plan. So yeah, really useful way that you can promote your content. I really advise you all to check it out. And this feature is available to every single one of our users. Why is that? Well, we received a lot of feedback about this. A lot of people wanted it, requested it. So we decided to develop it and also make it available to everyone. So after this webinar, definitely take a look at it. There's also a new help article or an updated help article also about using this feature. So if you have any questions about how to do it exactly, definitely check out this article. Let me just quickly link it in the chat. There we are. Definitely take a look at that if you have any questions. Let's have a quick check. There's a question here. What if our client doesn't work with StoryChief? I'll get to that just a little bit towards the end, as it's not super relevant for right now, but Are there any other questions about using this feature? Is everything clear for you all? It's a bit of a shorter webinar than usual, but I really want to just demonstrate this all to you, how it all works. I think it's really crucial. So you don't need to have to, log into different tools to do it. Just do it all within StoryChief and you're good to go. Okay, thank you, Jürgen, for that positive feedback. The link to the article, I should have pasted it in the chat. Do you not see it? That is strange. Let me try again. 2 seconds. Now, hopefully. If you don't see it in the chat, or if you're watching a recording of this, if you just go to our help center, which is help.storychief.io, and if you just type in, for example, social, then you'll find our schedule multiple posts article. All right, you've seen it, great, fantastic. Okay, there's another little feature that I want to quickly demonstrate to you all. As I mentioned, this is a bit of a shorter webinar, so I have a bit of time just to go into something else quickly. Today we released another new update, and this is for our content calendar. And this will also kind of come into play with the multiple social posts. So if I click on my calendar right now, if you use this, if you are on a professional plan, you will know that you can view your StoryChief account on a monthly basis. Well, not anymore. Now you can also choose weekly or daily. So this really is useful for that multiple social post feature, because on monthly view, it could become quite crowded. So if you really want to look on a weekly or daily basis to really see specifics on when things are going to go out, now you can do that with a content calendar. So if I want to choose weekly to see what's going out, this is that tweet we created earlier, you see. We can see that now a lot easier. And with a daily view, we can really look per hour, per half hour, and what is being sent out. Okay. Any other questions about our social, all this content calendar feature? While you may be thinking about that, let me just quickly also tell you about our next webinar. So next week, I'll be hosting an entirely different webinar. It's catered more to maybe new users to StoryChief, maybe someone who's thinking of using StoryChief, or maybe even someone who wants to learn more advanced features, like how do we use that content calendar efficiently? How do we use the campaign feature? Those kind of things. So if that does sound relevant to you or interesting, definitely sign up for that. Let me just paste the link to our webinar page here. Definitely check that out. Every fortnight, every 2 weeks, we have a different themed webinar. So similar to this one, but on a different topic. So definitely bookmark this page or check back on it every now and again to stay up to date. Okay, I'm going to quickly answer also a question in our Q&A section. What if our client doesn't work with StoryChief? It's just in regards to creating the social posts. Is it being able to let other people create the posts? Is that what you're trying to ask? No response just yet. Maybe they're still typing, no worries. So again, this is a bit of a shorter webinar than usual, and I've gone through everything I wanted to show you all today. We have a bit of time still, so if there's anything outside of the social post that you want to see, let me know now in the chat, and we can quickly demonstrate that for you. If not, it's great to be able to speak to you all today and highlight this new feature. If you want to stay up to date with all of our features, check back in on this What's New section every now and again. This is where we put all of our updates. And if you want to take a look on what's coming up on the roadmap, we also have a Trello board, and we also link that into the chat, where you can also see what we're developing, what our plans are, and what we are currently working on. Yeah. So I see a quick question from Margot here. In a social post, can I make the text a link? Good question. Yes, you can. So if I go back here and I type something in, say if I wanted to go to let's edit this. If I wanted to go make a link to StoryChief, for example, what I would do, yeah, I would just copy in the full address, like so. And then once you publish it to that social post, that social channel, sorry, it'll transform itself into a link. So you don't have to like highlight it or anything like that. Just enter the full link in your post, in your social post, and once it gets published, it'll be transformed into a link. And that's the same for all of the platforms. So you don't have to do it yourself, it's all done for you. Okay. Right, I think that is everything then for now. If there's any questions still, now's the time to ask them. If you're watching a recording of this webinar, you can also send me an email at sam@storychief.io and I'll get back to you whenever I can. Again, if you have any questions about this or anything else, you can always do that also via our chat icon in the bottom right corner, or again, check our help articles. Another quick question from Margot. Okay, but you can't type checkout StoryChief and make StoryChief clickable. That is correct. I'm not sure if that's possible like natively on all the social channels, but I'll check in with our developers and I'll get back to you personally and also in the follow-up email that we send out tomorrow. Okay. I know you can't do it inside StoryChief, but maybe there's a limitation why you can't do that, but I'll definitely let you know. Okay, great, super. So again, thank you all so much for watching this webinar. Hope you all make great use of this feature. I think it's really useful to kind of build up your brand awareness and your reach, so definitely use it. Hopefully see you again in a different webinar very shortly. Sign up for that introduction webinar if you are new to StoryChief. And if you have any questions, send them to me at sam@storychief.io. Okay, everybody, thanks a lot. Speak to you soon. Bye.